Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. We're really excited about this one, kind of like getting our hands on a secret map, you know?
Oh, I like that. And this map, it's not just showing us the way. It's like it's got those insider tips, the shortcuts you only learn from experience.
Exactly. We're talking about trading, but not the technical stuff you can find anywhere.
Yeah.
This is the wish I knew then what I know now advice, straight from the mouths of seasoned traders.
And what's fascinating is how much of it is about mindset, about the psychological game of trading.
Right, like that whole get-rich-quick fantasy, we all dream about it. But this source, they're like, hold on, pump the brakes a little. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Totally. It's so easy to get caught up in those overnight success stories, right? But real wealth, the kind that lasts, it's built over time, strategically, not by chasing risky wins. Even if you had a lucky streak at the start, could you repeat it without a solid plan, especially in today's market?
Which brings us to consistency, something everyone talks about, but as our trader gurus point out, it's way harder than it sounds,
Yeah.
especially with markets moving 24/7 these days.
It's true. It's about discipline for sure, but it's also about how our brains are wired. You score a win, get that dopamine hit, your brain's like, let's do that again. Even if it was a risky move. This is where a solid strategy comes in to keep us grounded.
So you're saying our own emotions can become part of the trading plan? Hadn't really thought about it that way before?
It's all connected. And that leads us to another gem, defining your trading style. See, we hear a lot about strategies, value investing, day trading, etc., but the source makes a distinction between strategy and style, and it really clicked for me.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the difference, in a nutshell?
Imagine two people who are passionate about Italian food, right? Same cuisine, totally different styles. One's all about slow-simmered sauces, classic recipes. The other's experimenting with fusion, modern twists. Same goal, different approaches.
Gotcha. So two traders could both use, say, technical analysis, but one waits patiently for the ideal setup while the other's jumping in and out of trades constantly.
Exactly. And neither style is right or wrong. It's about knowing yourself. Are you naturally impulsive or methodical? Forcing yourself into a style that clashes with your personality, well, that's a recipe for disaster.
So step one isn't even looking at a chart. It's figuring out who you are as a trader. That's deep.
And that self-awareness, it goes way beyond making money. It's almost, dare I say, therapeutic.
Okay, now we're really going deep. Trading is therapy. I'm listening.
Well, there's this quote the source uses. We become what we repeatedly do. Think about the habits trading forms. Impatience can lead to bad decisions. Fear makes you miss out. And greed. We all know where that leads. But recognizing these things in our trading, it's like holding up a mirror, isn't it?
So those wish I'd known that moments, they're not just about the markets, it's personal growth too.
Okay, I'm seeing the bigger picture now. But before we get too existential, how about some practical advice? What's next on the list?
Let's talk about planning. But not just planning your trades, planning for all the emotions that come with the ride. Oh, now this is interesting. It's never just about the numbers, is it?
Exactly. Anyone can tell you to set stop losses, take profits at a certain point. But how do you handle it when a trade goes against you? Or, just as importantly, when you win big, how do you make sure it doesn't go to your head?
It's like that saying, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right. But seriously, the source emphasizes that before you enter any trade, you define your win point and your loss point. But also decide how you'll react emotionally in both those scenarios. That way you're not making decisions in the heat of the moment.
So it's like having a game plan for your feelings, not just your portfolio. That's next level stuff right there. Okay, we've got to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're tackling a topic that often gets a bad rap in the trading world. Leverage. Don't go anywhere. And we're back, ready to dive back into those trader insights. We've covered a lot of ground already. The long game, consistency, and wow, that whole mindset piece, that was eye-opening.
Right. It's like the real trading doesn't start until you've mastered yourself first.
Exactly. But before we get too zen, there's one more. Wish I'd known that. We got to unpack, and it's a big one. Leverage.
Yeah, that word gets thrown around a lot, doesn't it? And honestly, it can feel a little intimidating, even scary if you're new to all of this.
Right. It's like reserved for the pros, those traders who are already swimming with sharks, making huge bets. So what's the deal with leverage? What did these experienced traders wish they had understood sooner?
Well, the key takeaway from the source is this. Leverage isn't inherently good or bad. It's just a tool.
Okay, I like where this is going. Like any tool, it can be powerful when you know how to use it, but dangerous if you're messing around with it, not knowing what you're doing.
Exactly. It's not about avoiding leverage altogether. It's about understanding how it works and using it responsibly.
Give me an example. I'm a visual learner. Got to see it to get it.
Sure. Think of it like fire. Fire's not bad, right? You
Right.
can warm your house, cook your food. Incredibly powerful tool.
But you don't play with fire.
Exactly. Mishandle it, and, well, things can get out of control pretty fast. So with leverage, same idea. You got to respect its power, use it carefully, strategically.
Okay, so that makes sense. But then why do so many people talk about starting small with trading? If leverage can help you grow faster, why not jump in?
That, my friend, is a fantastic question, and it leads us to our final, wish I'd known that. It's this. You don't actually need a ton of money to get started. And starting small has its advantages.
This is good news for those of us who aren't, rolling in dough.
It's about focusing on the process, on building a track record, even if it's with a couple $100, $1,000, whatever you can comfortably afford to potentially lose. By the way, risk management is key.
Right. It's like learning any new skill. You wouldn't expect to walk into a kitchen and whip up a Michelin star meal on your first try, would you?
Exactly. You learn by doing, by making mistakes, by refining your approach over time. Trading's the same. You don't need to be a Wall Street hotshot to get started. You just need the willingness to learn, adapt, and stick with it.
So it's less about chasing quick riches and more about developing a system, a strategy that works for you consistently over time.
Exactly. And that brings us to, I think, the most powerful insight from all of this. It's a quote, actually, from former United States Senator Chauncey Depew. He said, "The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are."
I love that. And it applies to so much more than just trading, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's about getting unstuck, overcoming that inertia, and taking action, even if it's a small step.
Because those small steps, done consistently over time, that's where the real magic happens. Just like those small wins in trading, they compound into something much bigger.
And that right there, I think, is the essence of what these experienced traders wish they'd known sooner. It's not about finding some secret formula or getting lucky overnight. It's about embracing the journey, focusing on self-improvement, and committing to the long game.
It's about playing the long game in life, not just the markets. And you know what? That's a message I think we all need to hear sometimes.
Agreed. So before we wrap up this deep dive into the world of trading, we wanted to leave you with a final thought-provoking question.
Something to ponder as you navigate your own trading journey.
We've talked a lot about the psychological side of trading, about self-awareness, emotional control, the whole mental game. But here's the thing. If trading is as much about mastering yourself as it is about mastering market analysis, what's one small step you can take today to improve both?
As we've been diving into these wish I'd known that moments, it strikes me how much of this wisdom goes beyond the trading screen.
It's true, isn't it? It's like these traders, they've uncovered these fundamental truths about success, about personal growth that apply to, well, just about anything we do in life.
Absolutely. I mean, take that whole get-rich-quick mentality. We see it everywhere, not just in finance. And it's just as misleading, just as likely to set you up for disappointment, whether you're trying to master the markets or master a new skill, even relationships, right?
It's about the long game, always. Real, lasting success. It's not about shortcuts or magic formulas. It's about building something solid, brick by brick, with patience and consistency. And that takes self-awareness, discipline, those things we've been talking about.
This is why I think this deep dive has been so powerful. It's not just about, which stocks to pick or when to buy or sell. It's about looking inward, understanding who you are, what drives you, what your weaknesses are, and using that knowledge to make better decisions, not just in trading, but in life.
That's the real investment, isn't it? That journey of self-discovery. Because once you know yourself, truly know yourself, you can start making choices that align with your values, your goals, your own definition of success.
Beautifully said. And on that note of self-discovery and long-term thinking, we're going to start wrapping up this deep dive into the world of trading. But before we do,
we wanted to leave you with one final thought, something to carry with you as you continue on your own journey, whether you're a seasoned trader or just starting out.
Remember how we talked about trading being a process of continuous learning, of adapting to ever-changing markets? Well, life's like that too, isn't it? It throws curveballs, presents unexpected opportunities.
So stay curious. Never stop learning, growing, expanding your knowledge and skills. And who knows, you might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of achieving.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time for more insights and conversations. Until then, happy trading, and more importantly, happy living.